Okay, got it. So hello and welcome to my channel. So over the past few years, I've really been trying to kind of develop my aesthetic and find my style and things that I like. So today I'm continuing on that journey and I'm going to try and DIY that like cottagecore dress. I actually found a free pattern. It's this one on Mood Fabric. So I found this free pattern online, again from Mood Fabric, and I really wanted to try it out. And in the spirit of staying cheap, I actually pulled out this beautiful green fabric. I think it's gonna go super well with that pattern. I believe this is cotton because it's a bed sheet from the thrift store. And I actually already did a project with this. It came with a fitted sheet, so I used the fitted sheet first, and now this is the flat sheet, so I think there's even more fabric on this. So if you'd like to see how I recreated this kind of cool cottagey kind of dress vibe, please stay and watch until the end. So that's it, let's go! So first off, I printed out the pattern directly from Mood Fabric. I'm going to link it down below. And I also assembled this pattern. It's very easy to assemble. It's very user-friendly. All you need to do is some tape and you align all of the pieces together and they will create those nice patterns. Next up is simply to cut out all of the pattern pieces based on your size. And I also reinforced with some tape wherever there needed to be some more. So we've got this sheet which tells us the instructions, so which piece is which and how to cut it. So let's say unfold or cut two. So this is my sewing setup and it's kind of a little bit messy, but here's the pattern pieces, and I'm going to start with the leftover from the fitted sheet I had. So I want to cut out the smaller pieces off of this piece of fabric, and then I'm going to start using the nicer flat sheet. So I'm gonna keep this guide with me and let's start. So now I'm simply cutting all of the pieces according to the instructions. For example, this piece needed to be cut on the fold, so that's exactly what I did. And I actually keep it the pattern piece pinned to my piece of fabric so I can more easily identify which piece is which. And as you can see, I cut seam allowances here, but I ended up not needing to do those, so I just cut them away once I figured that out. So the seam allowances are included in the pattern and you don't need to add them. So this is day 2 of the Milkmaid / cottagecore dress. Today I'm going to start by assembling the dress. I guess it's the kind of least intimidating part because I'm just sewing all of the panels together. I did look up on the Mood Fabric Society website. They actually have a tutorial on all of their patterns, I think. I actually forgot about that. So it's my first time kind of looking up the tutorial. So I figured out how to place all the pieces, so like what order to place them on. So you can just put all the pieces together because some of the seams on the chest part has to align with the skirt, and which makes a very pretty effect. So that's what we're doing today. Let's go! So I'm just assembling all of the panel pieces of the skirt in the right order. So here I'm just using a straight stitch, nothing fancy. And here is how the dress should look like. So I just finished sewing the skirt, and I actually ran to the thrift store to get myself an invisible zipper. So it's not the same color as the fabric, but it's kind of this grayish, so I think that it's gonna blend well. Plus it's an invisible zipper, so if I sew it properly, it should not be visible, at least not very much visible. And now I'm ready to move on to sew the top part of the dress. So I'm just placing the panels in the right order and checking that I have placed them correctly before I actually pin them and sew them together. So just pinning them and sewing them right sides together. And I'm doing this for the main fabric as well as the lining. So you should end up with 2 bodices. Again, sewing simply with a straight stitch. I'm cutting away all of the loose threads as well as any excess fabric because I don't want to bunch up inside the dress. Now this is the bust panel, and you're gonna want to do a basting stitch along the curved edges, and on top you want to sew a channel to insert an elastic or a drawstring, whatever you prefer. I did the elastic. So to insert the elastic inside the channel, you're gonna use 2 safety pins, one to bring the elastic forward and the other one to pin the elastic down in place and not lose it inside the channel. This has always been my favorite method to insert anything like this. And as you can see, I'm pinning this down so I don't lose it inside. And you're gonna sew where the safety pins are, again, as to not lose the elastic. So I'm going to explain this ruching part more in detail at the end of the video when I'm going to do the sleeves. And here I want the bust part to be exactly the size of the hole that you can see in the bodice, so it will fit properly. Now to insert the, let's say, sleeves or straps to attach the sleeves, I'm gonna fold it in half and pin it to the inside or the right side of the bodice. So I'm pinning one end of the strap, folding the other end, and attaching the other end to the other end. I hope this is clear, but the images show them better than I explained them. Next up, I'm going to kind of sandwich the bust part in between the two lining and the main fabric. This did take some time for me to figure out how to do and how to really hide away that seam. So as you can see, it forms kind of a U shape where the bust piece rests, and you're only gonna pin this part, and then we're gonna work on the straps and the rest of the bodice. And then again, simply sewing it on with a straight stitch. After doing this part, I'm gonna do the rest. So this is what it should look like. Sorry for the bad framing. And then I'm sewing on the rest, so like the armholes and the top of the back. And then this is what it should look like. So all the seams are perfectly tucked away. So next I'm finding the middle of the back, which I'm going to seam rip in order to attach the bodice to the skirt. And I'm going to sandwich the main fabric and the lining to the skirt, making sure to hide away any raw edge so it won't fray later on. I'm making sure also to line all of the seams so it's going to look very professional, let's say. Once the seam line up, I'm pinning the rest of the bodice to the skirt. Here it is, and I'm going to top stitch this. I didn't show the struggle of me pinning down the zipper to the dress, but here it is, and I'm gonna switch from my regular foot on my sewing machine to a zipper foot, which can be put either on the left or on the right to do the appropriate side of the zipper. And lo and behold, this is my first time actually sewing on an invisible zipper properly and actually it being invisible. So you have to sew very, very close to the teeth of the zipper in order for it to be invisible. However, if you do so too closely, you won't be able to close your zipper. And once that is done, I'm finishing off the zipper and sewing underneath the zipper. So now for the sleeves, here is the pattern piece. So here along the curve, we're going to do a basting stitch. So this is the longest stitch length that you're gonna use on your sewing machine in a straight stitch. You're going to tie up one end with a double knot. And then on the other end, you're gonna pull on one of the two threads. Usually it's the top one, I believe, that works best. And you're gonna do this gathering and then kind of spread out the ruching effect along the whole seam. So this is what it should look like. We're gonna sew in a channel on the other end of the sleeve right here to create a channel to feed through an elastic. So this is what's going to hold the sleeves in place and also create that ruching effect on the arms. Again, using my favorite hack, the safety pin, to feed through the elastic inside the fabric channel. Once we're at the end, we're gonna sew the two ends of the elastic together and then finishing off the sleeve with a straight stitch along the last edge that we didn't touch yet. So this seam is the underarm. So here they are, the two sleeves all finished up, and we're going to attach them to the dress finally. So I'm simply pinning them down on the right sides together to hide away the raw edge. I'm also making sure that the seam under the arm lines up with that other seam on the bodice and pinning everything down. And again, sewing with a straight stitch all around the arm. So here's where I've been at with this dress for the past 2 weeks, I think, since there is barely any work left to do. I guess I just brush it off as done, but it's about 90% complete. 99% complete. I only need to hem the bottom, and I think I'm like going to hem it just below the knee, because I think like this it's too long, so like maybe right here. So I'm simply measuring 20 centimeters all around the skirt panels and just cutting it off. Next, I'm doing a simple hem. I'm folding in the hem twice to hide away the raw edge. I'm pinning this down and sewing this with a zigzag stitch this time to just make sure that I'm catching all of the fabric pieces. And the actual last step is to cut away any excess fabric and loose threads all of inside and outside of the dress. And here is the final result.